Holyrood's Basic Law Board has supported the Scotch by the government's failure to put Brexit law to a agreement voice except changes are done. Scotch ministers wish the EU departure draft corrected up they put it to MSPs for legal agreement. The board, that includes Tory MSPs, coordinated how, as it stands, the draft is inconsistent in Degeneration. Scotch Registrar David Mundell has pledged to give striker changes to the contested portion of the draft. Labour's Jeremy Corbyn rejected an invite to get portion in the summit conference, inviting the team's attitude corrupted, and the Scotch side's lead Richard Leonard told the SNP could not be trust on Brexit. The reason above the EU departure draft focuses on paragraph 11, that deals immediately in the devolved administrations and the powers upcoming behind of Brussels' position Brexit. The paragraph has been attacked by groups consisting the Scotch by the government, SNP MPs at Westminster and those Scotch prudent MPs, one of whom outlined it as no fit for goal. MSPs on the Financial and Basic Law Board solidly added their way to the proverb how paragraph 11, as now developed, is inconsistent in the Degeneration community in Scotland. They told the board will not be in a stance to encourage legal agreement for the draft except paragraph 11 is replaced or remote addition how allowing the should be a question of precedence for the UK by the government. Board organiser Bruce Crawford told how in its this shape, the draft represents a basic change in the pattern of degeneration in Scotland. Scotch Brexit Secretary Mike Russell, who welcomed the board's paper, has told the government is looking at the opportunity of representing its own continuum law, should it failure to go to an treaty above the UK draft. The board told the attitude would outcome in a diminished schedule for Parliament study, calling the government to attract in previous discussions in the Parliament on the Scotch and Welsh governments together put striker capacity amendments to the departure draft for the previous portion of its advance via Westminster, but saw them discarded by MPs. Yet, Mr. Mundell said MPs how same draft will be corrected at a after phase, in review at Westminster due to restart above the upcoming weeks. Scotch prudent MSP and Vice Board organiser Adam Tompkins told the team welcomes the advance how has been done in evolving an attitude to assenting overall UK frameworks for back powers. And he told members greet the UK by the government's obligation to honour the Degeneration community. A UK by the government representative told, we wish the entire of the UK to go along in supporting of the law, that is key to supplying the result of the plebiscite. Each portion of the joint realm as necessary a operating status volume, and how applies as lot to Scotland as in another place. As the board has recognised, we include done nice advance in our discussions in the Scotch by the government on overall frameworks and we see striker to manufacturing considerable future advance above the upcoming months. Meantime, MSPs are to discussion the Brexit trial and the stance of the left EU term state on their at first day behind following the celebratory interruption. They will talk testimony collected by the Civilization, Travel, Europe and Foreign Relations Board on the Brexit trial, that began in the causing of Paper 50 in March 2016. Front of the discussion, Scotch Labour lead Richard Leonard charged at First Secretary Nicola Beluga of with Brexit as a policy prospect to divert of devolved issues love public health and regional by the government. As some opposition parties encounter for a Brexit summit conference at Westminster out of Labour participation, Mr. Leonard told the SNP appear never to take the outcome of any plebiscite. He told, same human beings of Scotland can't confidence the SNP while it comes to Brexit, it is a policy prospect for the nationalists to allocate focus off of their recording in by the government and to their possession in the basic law. SNP MSP George Adam retorted by inviting Mr. Leonard, a difficult Brexit advocate, proverb the was same back of the branch's office space, wherever Labour there conducted its orders of a London side lucky to conspire in the Tories' difficult Brexit mess.